Just think about it for a moment, a world where there are no humans, only animals and birds everywhere. Such a strange city is Zootopia. And this time, our familiar rabbit police officer and her fox friend have set out to expose a terrifying lie that's 100 years old. This mystery is so dangerous that if it becomes public, the entire city of Zootopia will be turned upside down. The movie's name, Zootopia 2, The Bitter Truth. Right at the beginning of the movie, we see that our Judy and Nick are now superstars of the city. Everyone knows them, and why wouldn't they? For the first time in Zootopia's history, a fox and a rabbit have formed an incredible team. Seeing their success, the whole city seems to be dancing with joy. Then the camera moves to the ZPD Zootopia Police Department office. There, Chief Bogo is in a very serious mood as he explains a new case to everyone. This time the case is quite troublesome. There is a customs inspector who is smuggling illegal goods through the port. Bogo sternly tells everyone, "Those of you who have just joined, rookies, will only watch from a distance and learn. Only the experienced officers will go into action." While Bogo is giving these orders, do you think Nick and Judy will just sit quietly? Absolutely not. Before Bogo can even finish speaking, an officer runs in and reports, "Sir, disaster." Judy and Nick have already reached the spot. They said they'll handle everything on their own, and they left long ago for the mission area in their favorite car, which they affectionately call Baby. The next scene of the movie takes place at a shipyard. There, Nick and Judy stage a huge drama to fool Inspector Snook. They carry a doll and act as if they are a happy family, and that doll is their real baby. They go up to Inspector Snook and spin a completely emotional story. They say that today is their child's birthday. Because of a small accident, the baby is crying a lot, so they've brought the child to see the trains to calm them down. Seeing this parental love, Inspector Snook completely melts. Out of kindness, he even signs on the plaster on the baby's hand. But the real game was happening somewhere else. While Snook is busy signing, Judy cleverly hides her toy parrot looking for a recorder pen behind a box so that all of Snook's secret conversations get recorded. But bad luck, Snook suddenly notices it, and instantly all their tricks are exposed. Judy then runs for her life and jumps into a van, and a deadly chase begins between the two sides. Nick and Judy chase the van in their small police car. Judy, feeling quite emotional, says, "Look, Nick, we're working exactly like a professional team now." But in the middle of this, they enter a dark tunnel. In the pitch-black darkness, at that very moment, their car crashes into the van and flips over, and in the end, this mission becomes a complete flop. After that, when they go to Chief Bogo's office, Judy tells everything openly. She explains that inside the van they saw some smuggled stolen goods, such as special plates and snakeskin. But Chief Bogo doesn't listen to a single word they say. Instead, he scolds them and says they deserve to be suspended. Bogo humiliates them and says, "You're not cut out for this. Go back to selling ice cream again." Nick doesn't hold back either. He fires back with a sarcastic jab and says, "Looks like someone's feeling really jealous after seeing our little police car." In the end, it turns out that what Nick and Judy couldn't do, some other zebra officers solved very easily. For Nick and Judy, this becomes a huge defeat and an extremely disappointing day. Chief Bogo then explains something very seriously to them. He directly says that they don't take serious matters seriously at all. Bogo says, "This constant joking and messing around you about everything is actually your defense mechanism. Those who grow up going through a lot of pain or trauma usually laugh and joke like this to hide their real pain." Nick, however, isn't someone who backs down. Quite calmly, he responds, "So, are you saying we should just stay drowned in trauma?" Chief Bogo gets angry at them, but instead of suspending them, he assigns them a very strange and completely new task. He clearly states if they fail to do this job properly, he will permanently break up the partnership between Hops and Nick. That means their partnership will end right there. But if they succeed, this will become the biggest opportunity of their careers. This new assignment is basically a workshop called Partners in Crisis. In simple terms, it's a therapy class. Partner pairs who are having problems are sent there. At the workshop, an animal therapist named Dr. Fuzby explains how difficult it is to maintain a working relationship when animals of different species work together. The situation there was something to behold. The entire therapy class was a bizarre mix of chaos and comedy. In simple terms, Dr. Fuzby directly tells Nick and Judy that the two of them are no longer getting along like they used to. But Judy is not the kind to give up. She angrily says, "Come on, we've been working as partners for just 1 week, and we've already saved this entire city from danger. Bringing us here was a mistake." But Fuzby points out a very important issue. He says, "Judy, you don't actually let Nick speak at all. And the problems that exist between you don't even want to acknowledge them." Meanwhile, a different idea is running through Nick's mind. He thinks there's no need to struggle too much in class. Better to quietly agree with everything and let time pass. So the chief will be pleased and dismiss them quickly. But Judy becomes stubborn. She wants to prove to everyone just how great a team they are. She wants the world to see how much a fox and a rabbit can achieve together. Just then, a breaking news report appears on TV. A huge event is about to take place called Zootennial. At the event, a very valuable and famous diary or journal will be displayed, which contains all the designs of the weather wall. The news report further said that 100 years ago, a snake had tried to steal this diary and, during that time, had bitten a turtle. Hearing this, a light bulb went off in Judy's head. She thought, wait, the snake skin we found must definitely be connected to this old incident. She began to suspect that the same snake might be returning to steal the journal again. Judy immediately convinces Nick that they should go to the event in disguise. She thinks that if they can solve this big mystery, no one will dare say anything nonsense about their partnership ever again. Nick eventually agrees and head toward the event. When they arrive at the Zootennial Gala event, their main challenge is sneaking inside without attracting the attention of security. Judy quickly changes out of her usual clothes and puts on a stunning, gorgeous dress. Seeing her, Nick jokes, "Looks like a rabbit is always ready for everything." Judy laughs and says that it had been her longtime dream to secretly sneak into a big, high-profile party like this right under everyone's noses. And today, that dream has finally come true. Once inside the party, they start moving around as if they truly belong to this wealthy society. Nick, already clever and smooth, easily strikes up conversations with the rich animals. He even smartly comes up with an excuse while helping a lady, creating a situation that allows them to enter a secured area, one where ordinary guests aren't allowed to go. At first, Judy feels that despite such a huge event, the security guards don't seem to be very strict. But then disaster strikes. A famous celebrity named Pawbert recognizes Judy. Shocked, he blurts out in front of everyone, "Hey, aren't you that famous Judy Hopps? So what are you doing here? Have you come to solve another case?" Suddenly becoming the center of attention makes Judy extremely uncomfortable. At that very moment, the main segment of the event begins. One of the city's influential figures, Milton Linkle, comes onto the stage to give a speech. While everyone's eyes are on him, Judy's sharp instincts catch something suspicious. And right at that moment, the entire atmosphere changes in the blink of an eye. Out of nowhere, a snake suddenly appears and attacks Milton Linkle. The snake's target is the diary Milton is carrying. Nick and Judy chase after the snake and eventually manage to catch it. But at that exact moment, Milton's bodyguards arrive at the scene. They say, "Kill the snake immediately, and we'll burn this diary." Since the snake tried to steal it, that means there's definitely something dangerous inside this diary. Then the bodyguards directly threaten Nick and Judy. They clearly state, "You will write in your report that the snake attacked us. You will not say a single word about this diary. Stay completely silent." But the real shock of the story hits that the snake has bitten Zootopia's police chief, Chief Bogo. And the most terrifying news of all, Chief Bogo is dead. The police are now suspecting Nick, Judy, and the snake. The entire city is now tense and uneasy. No one can believe what actually happened that night. A case has been filed against Nick and Judy. Now the question is, are they truly trapped, or has someone set them up as part of a massive conspiracy? We have now entered a huge mystery. Breaking news is playing non-stop on TV. Nick, Judy, and the snake are being portrayed as outright criminals. That Chief Bogo's condition is extremely critical. Milton bluntly says, "I want them to disappear from this world forever, like a magic trick." His man, slightly shocked, asks, "But sir, will it really be that easy? Aren't there any walls or obstacles in the way?" Milton directly threatens him and says, "I want that journal at any cost. If it isn't recovered, then I'll assume choosing you as mayor was a mistake," which clearly means if the diary isn't secured, the mayor's job is finished. The scene then shifts back to Nick and Judy. They are now desperately searching for a place to hide in order to escape the police and the media. Judy is trembling with fear and keeps saying, "I never imagined in my life that I'd have to run from the police like this." Nick tries to calm her down. In his usual style, he cracks a small joke. "Looks like we should have stayed in that therapy class. We got ourselves into trouble for nothing." But Nick has an idea. He tells Judy, "We've followed your rules for a long time now. This time, we'll do things my way. We're going to see Mr. Big." Mr. Big is a terrifyingly powerful underworld don, someone Nick already knows from before. Judy hesitates at first, but then realizes that given their situation, there's no one else who can save them except this mafia boss. When they reach Mr. Big's hideout, they come face to face with an old turtle. Poor fellow, he was bitten by a snake 100 years ago, and he's been there ever since. Mr. Big then reveals the real story to Judy and Nick. He makes it clear that the snake they're so worried about isn't actually the real problem at all. The true danger is a terrifying gang called the Lynxes. This group of wildcats wants to take over all of Tundra Town and expand it according to their own plans. And anyone who stands in their way, they simply erase from the world. Mr. Big warns them seriously, "Taking on these cats is not your fight. It would be better for you to save your lives and get out of here." But Judy isn't the type to back down. She says firmly, "I took an oath to protect this city, and I will fight for justice till the very end." Judy then asks Mr. Big, "So why is everyone so obsessed with getting this journal? What's actually inside it?" Mr. Big replies that even he doesn't know for sure. But since the matter involves a snake, it would be wise to talk to reptiles or vine-dwelling creatures. He gives them the location of a secret place. Marsh Market, only creatures of that kind live there. Nick and Judy decide that's where they'll go next. Mr. Big then assigns his trusted beaver friend, Nibbles, to guide them as they're leaving. Nick nervously keeps saying, "Let's just hide somewhere." But Judy is stubborn. She's determined to solve this mystery no matter what. After that, Nibbles takes them to a very strange place. There, he starts communicating with a seal using bizarre gestures. And who knows what kind of magic happens? After a short while, the seal actually transforms into a boat. Riding that boat, they finally reach Marsh Market. The place is completely different, surrounded by nothing but snakes, lizards, and other reptile-like creatures hanging around. There, they meet a lizard-like creature named Jesus. Jesus tells them an interesting piece of history. He explains that when the city of Zootopia was being built, the living area for reptiles became separated from the main city. Since then, they've lived here independently, in their own way. Laughing Jesus adds another funny remark. People here don't really care much about rules. Even if you walk around without wearing pants, maybe just a lungi or something else, or even nothing at all, no one will say a word. Judy then asks Jesus, "So why is Gary so obsessed with that book? Why does he need it so badly?" Jesus explains that snakes have a special power. They can see through anything completely, inside and out, and in the entire world, Gary is the only one who can read what's written in that book. Jesus also warns them that the book contains secret information so dangerous that if it falls into the hands of the Lynx gang, it will spell total disaster. If the book isn't secured, the entire Marsh Market will be taken over by the gang, and the poor reptiles will be completely wiped out. While they are talking about all these serious matters, the police suddenly raid the area. Without wasting a second, Jesus shows them a secret escape route. He says, "Hurry and get on this ferry. It will take you straight to the snake's hideout." Surprised, Judy asks, "Why are you helping us so much?" Jesus replies with a smile, "You saved Zootopia from a huge disaster before, so I trust you. I want you to erase that bad label stuck to reptiles so ordinary people stop fearing them and start accepting them." At that exact moment, hippo police officers storm in, and Jesus vanishes like magic. Just then, the devilish Gary sneaks up from behind, snatches the book, and starts running away across the water. Nick and Judy don't back down, they chase after him. The police are also right on their heels, practically breathing down their necks. Nick and Judy jump around desperately trying to escape, but they can't match the police's speed. Just as the police are about to catch them, Nibbles comes up with a clever idea. He dumps a whole pile of apples onto the hippo police officers. And hippos are obsessed with food. They forget all about catching the suspects and get busy eating the apples. And in that moment, Nick and Judy manage to slip away. Chasing after Gary, they reach a place where Gary suddenly jumps into a strange tunnel-like passage. With no other option, Nick and Judy leap in after him. Underwater, Judy manages to grab hold of Gary, but the strong current and water pressure make it hard for her to breathe. Eventually, she loses consciousness. Nick desperately tries everything, and using a pipe, manages to pull Judy up to the surface. So far, what we've learned is this: there's a powerful gang operating behind the scenes. A major mystery is hidden inside that journal, and Nick and Judy are trapped in a dangerous place. Nick says that their agreement still stands, but the most important thing is that they're alive. If they can't find Gary, then it would be better to look for a way out of there. A little later, a group of mountain goats suddenly appears. The interesting thing is that they have the exact same flowers that were seen with Gary earlier. Surprised, Judy asks, "Where did you get these flowers?" The goats point toward the very top of the mountain and say that they can be found at Old Honeymoon Lodge. That means the place is even higher up the mountain. They also explain that the area used to be a snake hideout. Hearing about snakes, Judy is initially very happy, thinking she might have found a clue, but that happiness doesn't last long. The goats then reveal that there's only one way up there, climbing the mountain using ropes, and the route is very long. Meanwhile, Nick shows Judy a pen. This pen was a gift symbolizing their partnership, but during one of their arguments it had fallen and broken. Seeing the broken pen deeply saddens Judy, but she doesn't say anything. Silently, she starts climbing upward. After a lot of struggle, the two of them finally reach the top. But just then, it's revealed that the police have arrived below. They find the broken pen on the ground and realize that Judy and Nick must be somewhere above. The police immediately begin preparing to climb up as well. After reaching the top, Judy suddenly notices something. She shouts to Nick. "Nick, I've found something," Nick shouts back, calling her Carrots, the nickname they jokingly use for each other. They reach a place where in the darkness, something is written on the wall, but most of it has almost faded away. There are some drawings, and beside them the words read, "Find your home." At that moment, Judy understands the real mystery. She says, the lynxes, a kind of violent wildcat species, were actually taking over all the reptiles' land. This is what they do. They drive other animals out of their own homes so they can claim a larger share for themselves. The snakes were really trying to prove this injustice to the world, that they were being wronged. Just then, Nick realizes that the police, ZPD, have surrounded the area. He shouts, "The police are here." Although Judy panics, she doesn't give up. She says, "We don't have any proof." In this situation, the police won't believe anything we say. Judy tells Nick to save himself and leave, but Nick refuses to abandon her. Slightly irritated, Nick says, "Judy, I don't care about this case at all. There's no point in risking our lives for something pointless." Before they can finish talking, the police launch an attack. The entire honeymoon lodge begins to collapse into pieces. In the chaos, Judy loses her balance and starts falling downward. Fading in and out, she faintly hears that Nick has been captured. At that exact moment, Gary and Pawbert appear like angels and save Judy, but Nick can't escape from the police. When Judy regains consciousness, she sees Gary and Pawbert standing in front of her. Seeing that she's alive, both of them are extremely relieved and happy. Meanwhile, the mayor angrily roars at Nick and asks, "Where is that rabbit, Judy?" Nick, staying true to his playful nature, jokes, "I don't know, man. She's a rabbit. Maybe she'll magically pop out of your hat." The mayor, furious, threatens to throw him into jail and says, "You should have run away from the city while you still had the chance." Now Judy and Gary, whose real identity is Snake Gary, are together in a safe place. Unable to control her curiosity, Judy asks, "How did you two even become partners?" Gary then reveals everything. He had found out that there would be a major exhibition at the General Gala, so he hid his identity and wrote a letter to his family asking to meet. Luckily, his brother Pawbert worked in the mailroom, so Pawbert read the letter before anyone else could see it. Gary also explains that he was smuggled in from another country, hiding inside a wooden crate for 7 straight days. Gary promises Judy that together they will definitely get Nick released. He then asks her, "How much do you actually know?" Judy says she knows that Gary's family was framed through a conspiracy. She also knows another secret, that the metal cover of that journal hides information that only a snake can see, and specifically a heat-sensing pit viper, snakes that can sense heat. Gary then confirms that yes, if even a little heat is applied to the metal cover, all the hidden secrets will be revealed. Now, let me explain the story of Zootopia 2 in a very simple, casual way, just like we'd talk while hanging out. Judy was confused about why Gary's great-grandfather would hide information so important to snakes. That's when Gary drops the real bombshell. He says, no, Zootopia wasn't actually built by a mammal at all. It was built by a snake, my great-grandmother. She wanted everyone to live together in harmony, so she built the weather wall, the climate-controlling wall. But Gary's great-grandfather was extremely cunning. When he realized how valuable this idea was, he murdered Gary's great-grandmother and put all the blame on the snakes. Since everyone at that time was already afraid of snakes, they believed his lies without question. After that, little by little, all reptile territories were buried under ice so that no one could ever uncover the truth. Gary says that the original patent, the ownership document, still exists, and it's hidden in Gary's old home. But the problem is, the entire area is now buried under ice. That's when a brilliant idea strikes Judy: the clock tower. There used to be a large clock tower in that area. Judy thinks that if they can somehow turn on the light of that tower, they'll be able to locate Gary's house by spotting it. The plan is simple: go to the old control center and switch the power back on. Once that happens, the clock tower will light up. Meanwhile, poor Nick is stuck in jail. There, a thug pig named Hogbottom keeps harassing him. Nick tries to explain that this is all Milton Linkle's scheme, but no one listens. Nick's old friend Nibbles is also there. Opening his heart to Nibbles, Nick says, "For loners like me, there's really no one except Judy. I don't want to lose her." Hearing this, Nibbles becomes emotional and quickly fashions a key, unlocking the jail cell. After escaping from jail, Nick wants to find the fastest driver possible. And who comes to mind? The slow-moving sloth, Flash. Nibbles is shocked and says, "This turtle speed guy is going to save us." But when Flash starts driving, Nibbles is left speechless by his speed. Judy and Gary are now inside the weather wall. On the other side, police officers acting on Milton's orders open fire at them. At that exact moment, Flash pulls up and positions himself like a shield in front of them. Bullets hit Flash's car, but everyone survives. During the chaos of entering the facility, Nick gets stuck outside. Judy goes inside and searches desperately until she finally switches on the power. Instantly, a beautiful light shines up from beneath the ice. The clock tower is activated. Judy spots Nick outside through a camera and quickly brings him inside. But at that very moment, the real villain finally reveals himself. Pawbert, he betrays Gary and Judy. He had secretly joined hands with the Linkles so that the original patent could be burned and he could become part of the Linkle family. Leaving Judy and Gary there to die, he goes outside and injects Nick with a poisonous syringe. Gary somehow shields Judy and desperately tries to save her, but Judy closes her eyes in agony from the poison. When the police arrive and see Gary leaning over Judy, they assume that Gary is eating her. Pawbert lies to Nick and tells him that Gary has killed Judy. But Nick is a fox. He immediately realizes that Pawbert is the real culprit. During their struggle, Nick risks his own life and throws the antivenom injection toward Gary for Judy. Judy uses the injection and manages to recover. At one point during the fight, Pawbert falls down, and Judy and the others survive. Even after falling, Pawbert doesn't die. Like a madman, he runs toward Gary's grandmother's house to burn the patent. But Nick, Judy, and their team smash their way there in a truck from a hidden drawer in his grandmother's house. Gary recovers the original 100-year-old document. Pawbert makes one last attempt to threaten them with a pistol, but the police arrive and knock him unconscious with a powerful blow. Finally, the news on TV reveals that the Linkle family were actually frauds. The stigma placed on snakes is erased forever. Judy and Nick become the city's superheroes, the Dream Team. In the final scene, they're seen buying tickets for a new case, and Flash, now their driver, asks, "So, how was it?" Judy smiles and gives a thumbs up, and with that, Zootopia 2 ends on a happy note.